violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, cyberspace? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Great to have you with us. I'm Joe Donlin. Welcome to our viewers on TV and on our digital streaming network, CBS News Chicago. A downtown block is at the center of controversy once again following a shooting over the weekend. A man was shot and killed early yesterday morning, but we found it's not the only fatal incident near one business there in recent months.
CBS 2's Maribel Gonzalez is live from Van Buren and Wells, where the bar is located. Maribel.
Yeah, Joe and Erica, so far this year, at least 3 people have been killed due to gun violence near this bar. This summer, the bar owners shut it down to address this issue, but on Sunday, it was open for an event, and now some are asking if this latest shooting could have been prevented.
Early Sunday morning, police say a 38-year-old man was shot and killed outside of what was formerly known as Persona Lounge following a fight.
Someone is shot outside of that location.
The incident, one of the most recent shootings near or around the business on Van Buren and Wells Drive in the Loop. In July, 2 men were killed and 3 others injured following a shooting.
They just shooting it up in Chicago. They shooting the whole city up, man. It's completely lawless. They're not solving murders at a high rate. And it's now become a common trope, a running joke, if you will, to say if you want to catch a body, go to Chicago, go to Philly, go to New Orleans. Because the clearing rate is so low, even Atlanta. It's ridiculous.
In May, 4 others were injured in another shooting.
The pattern of violent incidents that really had a lot of residents concerned.
Back in August, Alderman Byron Siccho Lopez says he met with police and the Office of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection. The agencies have the authority to shut down a business if there are safety concerns.
The owners agree voluntarily to close down and to resubmit a new concept or a new license permit. So that the business in itself would have changed to address the concerns.
But the business is still open. We reached out to owner Reginald Marsh. In a statement, he tells us Persona Bar no longer exists, but they still have a license to operate, adding that on Sunday there was a private event there. Marsh says the shooting happened when a security guard fired his gun at another member of the security, and it had nothing to do with those attending the event. Alderman Siccho Lopez, meanwhile, says the recent shooting highlights a bigger issue. What he says are disparities in enforcement because this bar is downtown.
This is unfortunately an issue that we see more and more common when we have different rules for different people, and also the fact that we are not acknowledging these serious issues as we should to prevent, again, more tragedies in our communities.
Bar owners, meanwhile, say the man killed Sunday was a security officer. We're still trying to figure out the name of that security company. We've also reached out to BACP and CPD, and we're waiting to hear back. No word yet on charges or arrests in Sunday's shooting. We're live in the Loop. Maribel Gonzalez, CBS 2 News.
All right, Maribel, thank you.
Alan and Cheryl, this is happening so often now. It's on a near daily occurrence, union leaders tell me. And tonight we spoke with one woman who was sadly in this frightening position just over the weekend, robbed on the job at gunpoint.
Oh my God, my life is just gone because this is scary. This is real.
Her heart pounding, this U.S.
You could hear it in her voice. She's woke. She was woke. She was chanting defund the police. She was marching with the BLM rioters. She was for all that. Let's not act like she wasn't. But now the super gremlins are at her door, and now she wants something done about it.
PS Postal carrier describes what happened to her Saturday afternoon while she was delivering the mail in Humboldt Park. Fearing for her safety, we've concealed her identity.
2 guys jumped out of a vehicle.
2 guys? No, ma'am. 2 super gremlins on demon time.
And said, "Give me those keys."
2 men pointing a gun at her demanded her master keys, she says, which gives them access to all these cluster mailboxes and blue boxes in a certain zip code. Thankfully, she immediately handed the keys over, and they didn't hurt her. But the near-death experience was all too real.
Now people's mail finna go missing. So she gave the keys up, and now everybody's gonna be wondering where their mail is. They're gonna be tracking a package. It says it got delivered, and it never showed up. I mean, think about the inconvenience that the super gremlin. How many people are inconvenienced by these super gremlins on demon time?
It's like our lives is being threatened to go and be safe to deliver the mail.
Right now, Chicago police are looking for a suspect accused of doing the same thing. At least 5 times since August, he's approached mail carriers, armed with a gun, and demanded they hand over their set of keys. But union leader Mac Julian says it's been happening more often than that.
It's more than just one person. It's becoming widespread.
Incidents occurring almost daily all over the city, and at least 2 mail carriers were robbed in Evanston late last month.
And the domino effect is it really will impede mail service, because if our carriers are not feeling safe, they're not going to deliver the mail.
I don't know what could be done, but something has to be done. I think.
Yeah, it's just like Uber, Grubhub, Uber Eats, all these rideshare programs or companies, their drivers are scared too. Their drivers are rolling around, protecting themselves in Georgia at least, but we know those gun laws in Chicago are a little different.
I think we need security.
They need security. How about you need tougher laws keeping these super gremlins locked up? And guess who's going to have to pay for that security? Yes, the taxpayer. Because it's the USPS. It ain't UPS, it's the USPS. So we're going to have to pay for that security because the sisters voted in politicians who are working to reform criminal justice in order to make it easier for these super gremlins to get on demon time.
Now, I did reach out to USPS for a response tonight, asking them what they're doing to protect their workers from incidents like these. We have yet to hear back. In the meantime, though, the union is working with Alderman Derek Curtis on creating a city ordinance. It would require these cluster mailboxes to be placed inside a building, hoping to protect these workers and make them less susceptible to crime.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
To your mail, and they're targeting postal workers to get it.
Chicago police say one armed robber has stolen several master keys recently. CBS 2's Marissa Perlman live at Chicago Police headquarters with where this is happening and why these keys are so important. Marissa.
Yeah, good morning. Well, police are looking for that armed robber as we head out this morning. They say the crime most recently has been reported in the North Austin and West Garfield Park neighborhoods, all of them happening in broad daylight. Now, we do know at least 5 incidents have been reported on the city's west side since August 17th. The most recent one just about a week ago here on October 3rd.
About a week ago. And my man in the earlier video, he actually said that it wasn't just one guy. They're trying to make it seem like it's just one guy. No, this is a lick that has been translated and disseminated to all of the super gremlins in Humboldt, West Garfield Park. And these areas are very dangerous. Before they was hitting licks on the USPS workers. But this lick has been, or this jug rather, it has been disseminated to all the super gremlins. So now everybody knows that, yo, if you get a master key, you probably get into the mail and get some money. So it's not just, this is, and them putting on the news, it's just going to spark even more people doing this.
Third off of Van Buren in West Garfield Park. Now, in each case, a man armed with a handgun ambushes mail carriers on their route and demands they hand over their keys. Now, if stolen, these keys can be used across neighborhoods on blue mailboxes where mail is dropped off and cluster mailboxes of multi-unit buildings. Now, this is a new case, but this kind of crime isn't new, and it's also hit the northern suburbs. Late last month, a man was charged with robbing 2 postal workers at gunpoint in Evanston over a 2-day period.
And I mean, these guys should be getting federal charges for this, because those postal workers are, you know, technically federal agents. So these guys should be getting federal charges for this. And they're risking it for what? You know, just to get a master key and go through people's mail?
And stole their arrow keys. We know a similar crime also happened back in August at an Edgewater apartment building. A crew of thieves brazenly broke into the building using that master key and swiped mail and packages. Now,
Damn.
Police are looking for...
And they was using a redhead glider queen. Look like it's some burrito gremlins up in here. So they getting active, man. They getting active. They stealing people's stuff. Y'all see that? Pooh Shiesty mask. Pooh Shiesty mask. Pooh Shiesty mask. These burrito gremlins are on demon time.
And packages. Now, police are looking for that one man this morning. They say he was responsible for these most recent crimes. If you know anything, have any information about what happened here, you're asked to call District 4 detectives. For now, we're live outside Chicago Police Headquarters. Marissa Perlman, CBS 2.
It's become a frightening pattern. Mail delivery drivers robbed at gunpoint.
She called.
Postal carriers, they are feeling helpless, union leaders say, as this is happening more often.
They are traumatized. They're off work. I mean, they're out there doing their job.
So they need to be carrying. At this point, boom. Give them a strap. Problem solved.
You're at work delivering the mail, and someone comes up and stick a gun to you for some arrow keys.
At least 5 times since August.
I mean, I gotta stop my brother right there. Why is he acting like that ain't a pretty good lick? I mean, you're gonna get some stuff in people's mail for sure. Why is he acting like, you know, that ain't a way to get money in the streets? Like, oh, just for some arrow key. Like, no, bro. I mean, it's a whole lick. Like, you literally have access to anyone's mail in whatever zip code those keys service. That's a lick, bruh. Don't try and downplay it and you know, minimize the impact of this.
The same suspect, according to Chicago police, has been approaching mail carriers armed with a gun and demanding they hand over their set of master keys to these cluster mailboxes.
They're looking for checks. They're looking for credit cards.
But union leader Mac Julian says it's been happening more often than that.
It's more than just one person. It's becoming widespread.
With women serving as half the postal carrier workforce in Chicago right now, Julian says this has become an increasingly dangerous job.
Why wouldn't it be dangerous for men? Aren't we equal? What do you mean with women being the majority? Like, bruh, so? Aren't we supposed to be equal? So what if the women are getting caught lacking driving the UPS truck or the USPS trucks? We're equal, so they should be able to handle their own just like a man. Why is there an emphasis on them being women? And I'm just speaking tongue in cheek. Obviously, I understand the implications of women being the majority of these drivers and them being the majority of victims who are going to suffer by the hands of these super thieving gremlins on demon time. But, you know, we always have to spin the logic back on these leftists because it goes deeper than just what's going on in the community, even though this is the most important thing.
So these young sisters are out there delivering mail, and you sticking a gun to them asking for some arrow keys. You know, how brave is that? But, you know, it needs to stop. And if it don't stop, there's going to be instances where people are not receiving mail.
Julian is now working with Alderman Derek Curtis on introducing a city ordinance that would require cluster mailboxes over 8 units to be placed inside the building to make carriers less susceptible to crime.
Anything that I can do and we can do as a whole, I'm willing to help.
Now, the suspect in these 5 incidents on the west and south sides of the city has yet to be.
So he said anything he's willing to do to help. What about, you know, giving up some names of, you know, maybe some super gremlins that you think did this? Okay? He looked like he got his ears to the streets. Help in that way, because that's all the help that we need. If you see a burrito gremlin, super gremlin, and they bragging about having, you know, hitting a lick on the USPS carrier and they got the keys and all this kind of stuff, tell on them. That's literally all we need.
Anything that I can do and we can do as a whole, I'm willing to help.
Now, the suspect in these 5 incidents on the west and south sides of the city has yet to be caught. Mind you, this is a federal crime. If you have any information, you're asked to call police.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.